Hey, this is the Geek Protagonist, and I got a comic book review for you today. Sorry I don't have my headset right now, and I kind of have to squeeze this in because I'm traveling a little bit. So, but I wanted to get one out, and I'm going to get a couple more out. This one I reread recently. This is from Jim Zub. Is the writer Edwin Huang. Let me see, make sure I got this correct. Yeah, it's the line art, Chris Stevens. There's chapter 1 and bonus stories and colors by Misty Coates. This is the Skull Kickers. This is 1,000 Opas and a Dead Body. When these were coming out and I discovered these, and this is when I kind of discovered that I'm a fan of Jim Zub when he does fantasy, as many others have. And by the way, just so you can see, My Hero Academia from that restaurant I was at, along with this. It was a sushi place, and after so many dishes, you would get a prize, and these were 2 of the prizes. So this is a knockout, drag-out, fun. It's D&D inspired, but it definitely takes its own path, and it's great. Like that they do that, because then you can kind of go where you need to go. They got lettering here by Marshall Dillon, issue covers by Joy Ang, Espen Grundit, Jern, Edwin Huang, Saijin O, and Chris Stevens. Trade cover by Edwin Huang, and you know, it goes through and through. Now, the Skull Kickers are actually Sneaky and Violence Imminent. It does this whole page where it talks about that. That was really cool. Writer, like, so you'll see like people on that. I'm trying to get to the first page, so give me a sec. All right, so this is what makes this comic right off the bat, and it's great because when you see it, but they're fighting a fat werewolf. And it's like, wait, what? And the 2 protagonists, or, you know, 2 main characters, are Baldy and Shorty. So, and I do apologize, I'm doing it like from here. Like I said, I'm kind of squeezing this in because I wanted to get this in before I left. So it's kind of like a great introduction to who the characters are, what they're doing. Even how they defeat the werewolf is hilarious. This is like Jim Zub just being Jim Zub, and there's just a lot of things. The artwork is fantastic. And basically you get a sense of who these characters are, and they also kind of set the stage for what they're dealing with. And you see how like people in the kingdom are talking to them. They get it, of course they go on the deal, and they have to, like, basically they're mercenaries, which is a awesome way to be if you want to do a quick, easy D&D adventure, or like a fantasy adventure or RPG adventure or anything. You just be mercenaries, and you can take a job like that. Most times heroes adventures are technically mercenaries, but they're more heroic, where these guys just take different jobs and stuff. So also too, if you look at chapter 2, and you probably saw it on the cover, Baldy has a gun. And there is a story behind that, but it does not get explored in here purposefully. Now they have to deal with some, you know, creatures. They got to go to this cave and kind of go to this adventure, and it's like progressing on, and you see them like just kicking butt, kick action, just constantly. And but it's good, but there's still actual story narrative. But this is a well, to do, like, you see like, hey, they're dealing with this thing. It's what's going on. And Baldy, you would also thought of something, because Baldy's a big dude. And there's something that comes later with Baldy that I love even more when you reveal more later. But they're dealing with stuff. They're, you know, these guys are just doing their thing, fighting. And then like when they do their interrogation of this guy, if you look, it's like honey and stuff like that. It's very funny. They basically have a lot going on, but they're trying to find out information because they're dealing with this mission to get to a place, basically. And they also had this little thing where they end up fighting goblins while they're on their way to their journey. They have an introspective conversation about these different things, and it's funny because like you kind of get to know things about them, and it's like, wait, what? Like how they eat. Also, he plays with the whole thing about the dwarf and how in D&D like they can be poisoned, but they can like kind of basically punk out poison. But like, yeah, like he's tripping. If you can see that, yeah. So he gets a spiritual journey, and as they're going through, and I'm trying to keep this like very spoiler light, it seems like they are having to deal with like a necromancer, and then there's like a whole story about dealing with this necromancer and why and how they're trying to work and save everything. And it's quite funny. It's very adventurous. And as you're going, there is a secret with the gun. As soon as Baldy leaves your presence, they don't remember the gun. There's something about that too. And it's like, wait, what? So yeah. So with all this, they're basically hunting down this necromancer throughout the thing, and they finally get into this big battle. The battle is crazy, but you get to learn some things about these characters, who they are. It's really good at establishing what they're about, who they are, how their friendship kind of works. They are antagonists to each other, but in a bantery kind of way. A lot of good banter in here. And this is just Jim Zub letting loose. And I think right now he's writing Conan. But like I said, there's just a lot to this, and necromancer, but it does get them on the stage of what's happening now, and it kind of sets the adventure forward. Also, too, and I've had this happen before in a D&D game, something does happen to Shorty that becomes kind of a curse situation. It's like, can he use it to his advantage or not, kind of thing. But yeah, they end up having these big, huge battle, and it's like it all crescendos into this just big, massive, crazy battle. But the whole time, the story is very focused and very driven, and then it's like another thing and another thing kind of thing. So one of the characters you are going to deal with is, and they do have a little thing in the back. So that's the necromancer. And right now, it's the big guy and dwarf. And I will be doing the more closing on the screen kind of thing in future ones. Just this one right now is a little easier to do this way. But they give you some, background on a dwarf. He's a pint-sized murder machine designed up for the comic series. The dwarf is an emotional, constant joy, violence, and always blaring. In the first story arc, both mercenaries are nameless, like a pair of wandering men with no name. The big guy is the more subdued of the two, trying to plan ahead a bit and keep things under control. So you do get to learn some things like that. Like I said, it's like Baldy, and but he calls him Baldy, but he's also known as the big guy. And then you got, like I say, here are the first two sketches Chris Stevens put together for the Copper Pieces and all like that. So that's kind of just a light rundown. They basically start off, they get you set up. Then it goes into an adventure, and the adventure is in here. It is dealing with the necromancer, and even though the necromancer thing is taken care of, it leads to the next adventure, just like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing, which is awesome. So, all in all, this book is for teen readers, 13, and includes the following: alcohol use, comic mischief, and cartoon violence, and just violence. We mean ugly face smashing, an axe in the skull, groin kicking, broken teeth, lopped off ears, chokeholds, and gunshot to the face, and an arrow to the eye. Ouch. That's literally what's said back here. This rowdy action story has whimsy, charm, and wit. This was from Gail Simone, Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman. Two mercenaries are entangled in a high-class assassination plot, and nothing, werewolves, skeletons, and black magic will stop them from getting paid. If you love fantasy action comedy or a touch of black-hearted violence, then Skull Kickers is the book for you. Should have read that in the beginning, but that's what this is, and yes. So this is my new grading system. I'm going to do school grading. In all honesty, I came across these one day when I started checking out more Jim Zub, and I think he was already on volume 2 or 3 when I finally found out about this. So I started getting it, and I would just wait for the volumes to come out. This Image Comics, you can probably get this off of Amazon. Honestly, I'm going to give this an A+. This is actually currently my favorite fantasy series so far. We'll see what the next one is will hold. But this, if you want to get something that's completely different, that's just straight up fun craziness, look no further than the Skull Kickers Volume 1 by Jim Zub, Edwin Huang, and Misty Coates. I think you'll have a good time. If you have read it, tell me what you think. Like I said, I'll do these a little better, but I'm going to do the grading system like A, just like in school, A+, A-, and this is definitely an A+. You know, B-, all that stuff. So, tell me what you think if you read it. If you haven't read it, like I said, I'm sorry, I'll give you a better review, but I kind of gave you an overview. It's literally establishing the characters, what are they doing, how they are, and it kicks off how the adventure goes. And there's a lot of craziness along the way. From characters just randomly getting hit, the things they fight, they kind of fall into situations because they're mercenaries, and it's like, oh my goodness, and then they fall into another situation, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But it also kicks off into a future stories, and really, really strong. And that right now, you know, it's Shorty and Baldy. So, like I said, this is an A+ for me. Geek protagonist. You stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. Don't worry, I usually get some comics that are random, but this one definitely is a great fantasy series if you want something completely different from Dungeons & Dragons, Conan, and everything, but has inspirations to all. And I'll see you.